Guys, welcome to India today. I have to tell you that I've always wanted to manifest things when I was a child, right? Mostly people want to manifest, I want to meet Tom Cruise, I want to meet Angelina Jolie. If you're an entertainment reporter, you want to fly across to LA, do that. I wanted to meet an orc. And always, the first time I put my hands on the books, I wanted to meet an orc. I had an image of an orc, how he walks, how he talks, how he looks, how he would eat. And I was lucky enough to see one on set when I was there in London. Amazing. What's your funnest orc story, and what's the first time you watched an orc, and how did it feel like? JD?
Do you have any stories?
I feel you would probably have more.
I have one. I have a fun orc story I'll share. Why not? I was walking across a battlefield, the battle for Eregion. We're doing a fun siege this season, it was probably 3 a.m, and it gets sort of dreamy at those times. And I was looking around, and the battlefield was littered with bodies. Some of those many of those are prosthetics or mannequins, because you don't have actors lying there for a long time. But like one of them I looked at, I was like, wow, that dead orc looks so real. Oh my gosh. And I went to him and I just gave him a little kick. And suddenly he was like, oh, hello, how you doing? And then he sat right up, and turned out he was one of our background performers, and he was just having a little rest. He shook my hand, and I said, are you staying warm enough? He said, oh, I'm fine, I'm doing good, just hanging out between takes. And I was like, well, thank you so much for being here. Anyway, so we had a nice little chat, and he was a very delightful gentleman. So that's a fun time hanging out with an orc.
But that's what struck me is a lot of stuff that we see on screen is not CGI. It's actually stuff that you can hold and play with. It's tangible, right? And how cool is that to actually be able to feel that? Because then the emotions or the way you feel or the weight of the prop just makes it such a real experience. Talk to me a bit about that, because that's such a genuine feeling to have, right?
I mean, you kind of answered your own question there. It's amazing to be able to hold something and to have something that is so tangible. Also because the prop makers and the people who make these things that we can have access to physically, they're incredible artists, and they're so good at their jobs. And everything that they make has a history, and there's actual meaning behind it, which makes it all the more meaningful. Yeah. It's absolutely incredible.
It's also incredible to see kind of the blend of CGI and like a practical set as well. Like for example, in season 1 when we did the crater, there was a crater in a studio setting, but then you look at it as the final product, and it's just like a seamless addition of VFX and special effects. So it's an amazing journey to be a part of, and then to see the final thing come to life.
Yeah.
Tell me, what's a good way to dodge a spoiler question, especially for you both in season 1? Who's this guy with you? We need to know. We've called him the Stranger. We've believed he's Gandalf. Then there are different versions of it. You must be getting a lot of questions thrown at you, all 3 of you, perhaps mostly the 2 of you, because you've shot scenes with him and your track does have a lot to do with it. How do you battle those questions? How do you deal with them? Friends, family ask you, like, what's your straight face expression like?
Well, friends and family is interesting because, I don't know, you can't really... You just can tell them to very politely.
Yeah,
not so politely.
Don't ask me that question.
Don't ask me that question. But it's fun. I mean, I think it's a lot of fun because it's a surprise.
Yeah.
And as a viewer, I love being surprised. Well, actually, no, I love spoilers.
I love being surprised.
But you love being surprised, and there are many people who love being surprised. So it all adds to the excitement. And when you see people trying to figure it out, it's exciting.
Yeah, it's part of the fun.
It brings audiences together as well, because they're all trying to figure out who this character is.
Absolutely. JD, my last question, we don't have enough time, but I love the fact that we also get to see a more empathetic side with orcs and their background and Adar and that whole storyline. It's a very different point of view. I've never seen that before. Was that fun and to invest in and sort of project?
From the beginning, we've talked about having an orc with an arc. Tolkien himself invested his orcs with more humanity than we may give it credit for, where in the books there's a scene with 2 orcs kind of talking about what their life could be like outside of being Sauron's minions, and maybe we could have a piece of a land for ourselves and have a dream of another life someday. We've always thought that there was some humanity in orcs. They were originally elves, and so they have this sort of they're fallen elves, but they still kind of come from this kind of noble place. So trying to see some of the more human side and the things that we can relate to, we felt like could make them more effective villains.
One of the many reasons why season 2 is so exciting. Thank you so much for making the Rings of Power, giving us what we need right now to feel, to invest time in, to put your phone away and just watch. Thank you guys, and congratulations on season 2.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.